Welcome to my lair. We drink the blood of your enemies on the full moon. This is actually just my iced coffee, but look what I thrifted. Cute, right? Huzzah. Welcome back to my channel, friends. Today we're going to be discussing, planning, plotting all of the different interior design goals that I have for my apartment. I've lived here for 3.5 years and it's come a long way. I think I've done a pretty good job with it thus far, but there's still a lot of DIY projects and furniture that I want to swap out and things like that I've just been putting off for a long time. And I think it's time to just dive in and get it all done. Now, just to clarify, we're not going to be doing the projects in this video. I'm just going to be discussing the overall goals for the whole apartment, and then I'll probably post living room makeover, bedroom makeover. These things just take time and money, and I just can't do that all in one day, so I need to spread it out. But I already intended to sit down and plan all of this out myself today, because next week I'm actually going to Connecticut with my partner, and we want to hit up Savers, different thrift stores, maybe an antique mall or something, and find different furniture pieces that we've been on the hunt for a long time. So I thought this would be a good time to actually put it down officially. What do we need? What am I looking for? What are the different goals for the apartment, just so that I know exactly what I'm looking for next week and can keep an eye out for all these different things. And it's just really fun to plan interior design stuff. I love interior design. I've been getting more and more into it. I'm such a homebody and my space is really important to me. It needs to be cozy and functional and feel like I'm living in a castle, even though I'm living in a very modern Brooklyn apartment. So that's a challenge. To give you a quick overview, and I'll probably put up a crude sketch of my apartment layout just so you guys know what we're working with. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. So we have a bedroom, we have a kitchen, a bathroom, and then the living room is really long and pretty big. So it's split up into half living room. The other half is my workspace. Okay, but let's start right over yonder in the living room / my office space. We have a very functional drawer shelf unit thing that is just giving Office Max. She's giving Staples clearance section. I've never really liked it. I think it was a pandemic purchase. We just had to settle for what we could find. I think it was super cheap. Therefore, it looks pretty cheap. It's not even real wood or anything. I just want an upgrade. It does serve a functional purpose. We keep batteries and tape and files and whatever in this unit. So we do need to put that stuff somewhere. So we have to replace it with something. My idea is either something that's far cuter to go here, some kind of drawer storage unit thing, or perhaps getting another bookcase to go next to this one. I think it would look even more library if we had 2 bookcases next to each other. And we have a lot of books and we'll continue collecting them. So I don't know. That was an idea. It could be bookshelf again over here, or we replace it with another small drawer unit. But moving on, right next to that, up against the backside of the couch, we have these 2 IKEA dresser units. I got them a while ago and I had a plan to paint them a mossy green, and I even have the paint still, which I don't know if paint expires or not. I'll have to check on that. I don't know if I like the green color, especially now that we have a new blue couch. I don't think that would look good at all. I don't think those 2 colors would mesh well. I do kind of feel like it just looks like an IKEA upcycle thing. I don't know. It looks a little cheap. It looks a little too DIY, I think, just slapping paint on it. So what I'm thinking is 2 options. The first one is more expensive, and that's just getting a whole different dresser. Something a little bit bigger, longer, something in a dark wood tone. Something nice, maybe antique-y, but that could end up being pretty expensive. I feel like dressers tend to be expensive. Option number 2 is more cost effective, but would it look good? I don't know. Tell me your thoughts. And that's to just stain them a dark wood and then get some kind of brass or nicer little handles to replace the wooden handles with. I feel like I'm leaning towards that because there's other furniture pieces that I want to purchase, and I just think throwing in the cost of a whole dresser is like just a bit much. And I like a DIY project. I like getting my hands dirty, you know? I just want it to look good though. I don't want it to look like an IKEA DIY kind of thing, but I'm open to hearing your guys' thoughts on that. All right, let's move on to the living room space. And I do want to apologize about the yellow overhead lighting. I just wanted to make sure you guys could see everything. It was kind of dark earlier when I took the photos. Never turn the big lights on if I can help it. I want to feel like I'm living in a stone cottage where candlelight is my only source of light. The living room space is like one of my favorite spaces of the apartment, but my partner and I have been talking about getting a better coffee table. This one was once again a pandemic purchase. It was just like, fine, whatever, we'll take it. It does offer some storage. We have these 3 cloth bins underneath, and it is filled with like a lot of my crafting supplies. We'd either have to get another like coffee table that's 2-tiered like that, or we'd have to figure out where to put that stuff. I'm leaning towards not having storage under the coffee table because, first of all, I don't like how the cloth bins look. I mean, like, that's part of why I don't like this coffee table setup anymore. Look, I know I'm talking about like, oh, it looks cheap versus like, I want something that looks more expensive. And I'm not saying that to be like elitist or classist. That would be very hypocritical of me. But I think from learning a lot more about interior design and decor, I've learned more about how there's a lot of things that are made really cheaply and then they're sold for much cheaper that just look cheaper. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can thrift furniture. Like, you can thrift much higher quality things that are going to last a lot longer at a more affordable price. Like, it doesn't mean you need to go to some like super curated antique shop and spend $1 trillion on something. I would also like to potentially get rid of this little side table thing. It used to be in our bedroom, but then we like moved our bedroom around and didn't have any space for it. So we put it out here in the living room, and like, it's fine. It kind of just like blends in with the dresser that we have the TV on. So it's like, I'm gonna keep an eye out. It's probably lower on the list of priorities, but it's still on the list. More importantly, I think, is all the stuff on top of it. Gotta figure that out. I really dislike all of these white spa gadget things sitting in our living room. This is an ongoing discussion with my partner and I. He's definitely more function over form, and I'm more form over function. And I think we help balance each other out, but like, I just hate looking at these. And while I understand that having an air purifier and a dehumidifier helps us, I just don't like looking at them, and they're ugly. So I want to figure out a way to like tuck them away, or like, I don't know, put them in a spot where they're not so visible. I just think they're really cramping my style, to be honest. Next to those is this lamp that I got at Target a few years ago, and it's fine. I think I might want to paint the shade or something. I think the big white shade is not, I'm not feeling it anymore. Basically, decor-wise, I would like to figure out something new to go on top of the TV stand and that little side table. I think we could do much better. All right, let's move on into the kitchen. The kitchen, there's not like a ton I can do in terms of like furniture or anything like that. One of my main goals is to clean up the fridge. I think I'm over the cluttered fridge look. I think especially living in a small space, it's like if things are cluttered and if you have like open storage of things, sometimes that can look nice, but sometimes if you're in a small space, it just makes it look messy all the time. And I think the fridge could just be cleaned up. I don't think we need all of this stuff on here. We don't even have that much on there. I just think having a clean slate will look a lot better. I'd also like to figure out better storage for on top of the fridge so things aren't just like exposed up there. Now on the countertop in the corner of the kitchen, we have a little like asymmetrical shelving unit thing that we store a bunch of stuff on. I think there's stuff I could swap out, like things I can take out of the cabinet that would look better placed there, and then put like all of our vitamins and stuff I can put in the cabinet so that it doesn't look so cluttered. Maybe put like a plant up there. That's something I've recently learned is like, you should put art in your kitchen. You can put a plant in your kitchen. Like, just because it's a kitchen doesn't mean you can't decorate it with some of the same things you would decorate a living room or a bedroom with. So I'd like to do something like that. I want to clean up that space and make it a little more cozy. I also want to upgrade our dish rack. The like plastic one is the easiest to clean, but I need to like do a bit more research on what would be the best. What's the compromise between style and function for a dish rack? Because it's obviously just a functional item, but it does take up a bunch of space on your countertop. So like, I don't want it to be totally ugly. All right, let's move into the bedroom. It's a very small room. It doesn't need a lot of work done, but this gallery wall, why is it so smushed and small? I don't know. You'll have to ask past Hannah. I don't know why it's like that. I still think it's cute. I like the aesthetic of it. So I'm not entirely sure what I want to do about that. If I want to just spread them out, if I want to add more pictures, if I want to take them down and do something totally different there, like get a bigger art piece. It would be cute to paint the bedroom, but that's like a pretty big project because we'd have to take everything out and put it out here, and there's like no space to do any of that. I think it would be nice to paint it like a darker color, either like a darker green or maroon, like almost like the color of my shirt or something. I think would be really nice. We also have this little space above the door in the bedroom that I think would be nice to put like a shelf or something, a little extra storage. It's kind of out of the way and out of sight. So that's just an idea I've had in terms of like getting more storage space into our apartment that has zero storage space. But that's pretty much it for the bedroom. I think I'd like to get a few more sets of like duvet covers and sheets and just have things to mix it up. All right, and the last space in the apartment is the bathroom. The bathroom is perfectly fine to me, but I think it could use with a bit more decor. Kind of like what I said with the kitchen. I think we can start adding more cozy decor items like a framed picture or a little lamp or a little stack of books. I think we can add these things to unexpected places like the bathroom or the kitchen. So yeah, I'd like to add maybe some art on the wall. I'd like to either a little lamp, or we don't really have a ton of space for that. So I'm also thinking some kind of light shades to go over the overhead lights, because they're kind of just there and exposed and really bright and yellow. And maybe a couple more faux plants, or maybe finding a plant that needs zero sunlight. All right, guys. Well, I'm looking around trying to find any last things that I failed to mention. And I actually remembered right here at the front of the apartment. First of all, there's a framed print of Van Gogh that I want to replace. I want to paint something original, put a Hannah original in there. Yeah, I think that'll look much better. I'm over that print, but I love the frame. And then on the windowsill here, we have these cloth things that sit at the windowsill to collect moisture because, you know, classic apartment problems. The windows don't like close all the way or something. They just collect a lot of moisture, and then it'll just pool and sit on the windowsill and like create mold. So we got these things to handle that, but they're also ugly. And you know me, form over function. I'm like, how do I fix this? Because I don't, even though they're an important thing to have, I don't want to look at them. On one side, we have these planter boxes, and I'm like, maybe we just need to put those on the other side. I'll just get some more. I have found though that putting the plants directly on the windowsill here, sometimes they just get too much light. Oh yes, and last but not least, the curtains in the front window. First of all, the curtain hanger is like kind of crooked. We need to fix that. It's been like that for 3.5 years. And then I think I'd also like different curtains altogether. I think it'd be cool to have a different color. They're kind of the same color as the walls, which sometimes I'm like, oh, oh, maybe that's better because it kind of just all blends in and it doesn't like distract from just like the window and stuff. But then sometimes I'm like, everything is too beige, like, ugh. All right, friends, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you were into this kind of video, want more interior design, decor style, things like that, definitely let me know. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about all of my different design ideas and all the different things that I want to do in the apartment. But with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe. If you want to stalk me on other parts of the internet, you can always find me on TikTok and Instagram. I have new music on Spotify. Go listen to my song Yearn. I just put it out. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!
Yearn like